right, here we are getting deeper into our trading session on Thursday. And keep in mind that we had weekly export sales numbers out this morning. We did have an overnight sale of some soybeans sold to unknown destinations. It was 184,000 tons, but it didn't seem to really prop up the market any at all. Let's take a look at our current prices and our quotes provided by bar chart. So let's go to the big board here. And on the corn, we have the May contract now 5 3/4 lower, and we're now trading at 6.19 3/4. Believe it or not, it has actually bounced about 4 cents from its earlier low this morning. Had a lot of pressure there for a little while, almost a dime lower. And July corn down 6 at 6.08 this morning. You have the new crop December contract dropping 2 1/4 cents at 5.55 3/4. In the soybean trade, now here, even though we had some really strong corn export sales, the soybean sales were almost non-existent last week for the weekly totals, and yet we're going lower anyway. You have the May contract, and again, let me add that we had an overnight sale too on beans. May down 3 at 15.14 3/4, so we're about 14 cents off of our overnight high here. July is now down by 3 3/4 cents. And on the new crop November contract on soybeans, we're down 4 1/2, and now trading at 13.67 per bushel. Now let's take a look at what's going on in the wheat. On the May contract in Chicago, we are now at 6.74, and we're down 13 1/2 cents, a big-time washout in the wheat trade today. Technically looking pretty nasty. We have May Kansas City wheat down 12 3/4, all the way down to 7.87 1/2. And believe it or not, that has bounced about 6 1/2 cents off of its earlier low this morning. Spring wheat trade in Minneapolis, May down 4 at 8.34 1/2. That's about 4 cents from its earlier low this morning. And cotton, well, we have July 35 points higher at 83.60. December down 32. We're at 83.53. Chris Swift is with us right now. He is with Swift Trading. He's based in Nashville. And Chris, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. What do you think of this fallout now that the WASDE report is behind us? Markets don't act very strong here.
No, they really don't, Marlin, and I think that WASDE report gave us exactly what we wanted to know, the confirmation that Argentina is going to be a little bit lower, Brazil is going to be about the same. So now everybody adjusts for what they know that crop is going to be, and I think we look forward to the March 31st planting intentions here in the U.S. The NOAA today said that the the La Nina is over with. We should have improving weather conditions all throughout the United States, and we know we've got big snowpacks up north. We know that we're going to get some rain now into the Midwest where we need that in the wheat belt. We're probably less than 3 or 4 weeks from pulling cattle off of wheat right now, so we should start to see a few more cattle, and then we'll see how much. I don't think there were a lot of cattle on wheat to begin with, but as we see those cattle come off and we see some warmer weather, it'll be much interesting to see how the wheat crop comes back.
When you look at a 6-month wheat chart, just how nasty is that chart, technically speaking anyway?
It's a bear market nasty.
So we're making new lows, right, for the long-term move?
It is. In the Minneapolis, you're not far from contract lows. And when we look at average prices, somewhere between probably $5.50 and $6.50 for the Minneapolis wheat. So here at 8, we're still $1 to $2 that we could go down in that market. Kansas City and Chicago the same way, literally almost almost $8 July wheat right now in Kansas City. So you could see that down to 7 without much trouble at all if we get the moisture to come into the Midwest.
Okay, we'll come back and we'll talk about that cattle market and the cattle industry right after these messages. As advertised, let's take a look at our live cattle trade. Our quotes are provided by bar chart as we dive in here. And on the live cattle board right now, we have the April contract still drifting about 12 cents lower. We're at 165.32. June is down 15. We're at 160.50. So not much enthusiasm on the live cattle side of things. On the feeder cattle side, we are a little higher, but only on the nearby contracts. This is kind of intriguing. You have the April contract 25 cents higher at $200. It just changed. $200.45 now. So we're about 30 cents from our high of the day. Still up right now, 37 cents. But the deferred September contract is still 7 lower, dragging its feet. Lean hog trade. Well, right now we're higher across the board. April is up just a nickel at 85.80. May is 72 cents higher at 93.90. So let's go back to Chris Swift here and talk more about our livestock situation here. I saw, Chris, that we had just a handful of cash cattle trade yesterday, but it really did not seem to be enough to get any kind of a price trend established just yet. What do you think?
No, we're looking at the boxes having slipped just a little bit the first of this week, and we pushed most all of the futures contracts up to the contract high where we sit within $1 of it in most of them right now. And we're still seeing heavy placements. We're still seeing 11.7 million head on feed, and we did some work this week that showed a really interesting facet between June of 19 cattle that went off the board at 110, and we had 11.7 million head on feed. This year, we have 11.7 million head on feed, anticipated to keep that through most of this year, and here we are $50 higher in the June contract. So a little anomalies like that really make this market very interesting.
You know, you mentioned the beef cutout values from yesterday, and I just wanted to point out, maybe we can bring those numbers up here, but the choice cuts were down over $3, as you mentioned, and their price came in yesterday afternoon at $284.78. Well, being down $3.15, that would put that price compared to $287.83 1 week ago. So now all of a sudden we're below week ago levels for a long, long time. We've been running real hot and way ahead of week ago levels. So that has really been quashed here in the last day or two. Thanks for pointing that out. Chris, great stuff, great information. Chris Swift of Swift Trading right here in Nashville joining us for a look at the markets.